Welcome to The Explainer. So today we're absolutely tearing down those old, super frustrating walls of language learning. I mean, if you've ever felt like you're just hitting a brick wall trying to get fluent in English, sitting in those endless classes or just staring blankly at endless vocabularists, well, you're in exactly the right place. We're going to explore the ultimate, frustration-free way to actually achieve English fluency, directly drawn from some incredibly effective, natural learning methods. Let's dive right in, shall we?
3,000. It's a pretty punchy number, right? And it happens to be the exact amount of words you need to really unlock the English language. When you think about the hundreds of thousands of words floating around in the English dictionary, 3,000 actually sounds surprisingly doable. But mastering this specific core set of vocabulary, that's the absolute foundation for everything we're talking about today.
And those 3,000 words, they give you some unbelievable leverage. By mastering just that core group, you'll be able to understand a staggering 95% of spoken English. Seriously, just let that sink in for a second. 95%. You don't need to know every single obscure word to know exactly what's going on around you. Suddenly, fluency isn't this impossible mountain to climb. It's a totally measurable, highly attainable goal.
But, okay, the million-dollar question. How do you actually learn them? A lot of folks try to hire online tutors, or they try memorizing those giant vocab lists, or they just sit in a classroom for hours on end. Let's be real though, traditional methods, they're slow, they're kind of boring, and honestly, they're way too expensive. We're stacking all that pain up against the real solution on the right, comprehensible input. It's natural, it's actually fun, and it relies heavily on context. This is the exact pivot that changes the whole game.
So, we really need to nail down what comprehensible input actually means, because it's the main engine driving how you pick up a language. The reality is, our brains only really acquire language in one specific way, when we actually understand the message being sent to us. We don't learn by painfully studying dense grammar rules completely out of context. No, we acquire it naturally, just by decoding whatever is happening right in front of our eyes.
Let me give you a really fantastic example straight from the source material. Imagine you're watching an outdoor vlog. The creator points the camera down and says, "This grass has been cut," while showing you some really short grass. Then he pans over to the side and goes, "This grass has not been cut. This grass is taller." Now, even if you don't know the exact translation of every single word he just said, your brain is instantly making the connection. Thanks to the visual context, the repetition, and the physical actions, you're learning. And the best part, it completely bypasses that awful feeling of studying. And that little grass example brilliantly shows exactly why comprehensible input just crushes the old methods. You're not just memorizing boring definitions, you're picking up vocabulary, you're hearing natural pronunciation, and you're boosting your listening comprehension all at the exact same time. You literally absorb the grammar and sentence structure just by hearing it used the right way. But here's the absolute ultimate prize. You actually start thinking in English. You completely skip that annoying mental translation phase.
Now, to make this work, you've got to ditch the boring materials. Real-life vlogs, specifically travel and adventure videos, are just vastly superior to dusty old textbooks. They're visually interesting, they pull you in, and because it's actually fun and feels natural, it doesn't feel like a chore. And why is that absolutely crucial? Because the single biggest hurdle in learning any language is simply giving up. Engaging content is what keeps you coming back day after day until you hit that fluency goal.
Okay, let's dive right into this, the 3-step fluency blueprint. Here is the highly actionable 3-step blueprint that's going to serve as the engine for your daily study routine. Step 1, watch those comprehensible input videos. Step 2, reinforce what you just learned using an AI tool like ChatGPT. And Step 3, retain all that knowledge for the long haul using a spaced repetition system, or SRS for short. It's a simple, super repeatable loop. Let's break them down. Step 1, watch and absorb. Just a quick reminder here, as you watch these videos, try practicing a little shadowing to really nail down that pronunciation and naturally soak up the sentence structures.
Moving on to Step 2, reinforcing with AI.
Think of a custom ChatGPT prompt as your own incredibly powerful personal tutor. First off, it gives you the clear definition for any words that tripped you up. Then, it throws you examples of that word in the past, present, and future tenses. It can even whip up little mini-quizzes on the spot to make sure you actually grasp the concept. Plus, the whole thing is completely customizable. If you need it explained purely in English, or if you need a quick translation into your native language, the AI just adapts to you instantly. It clears up any confusion right then and there.
And finally, Step 3, long-term retention.
For true, long-lasting memory, you really want to use an SRS. That's Spaced Repetition System software, something like Anki. You basically take the new words you just learned and drop them into the software. Then the algorithm tests you on those words at perfectly timed intervals, making sure they move out of your short-term memory and lock deep into your long-term memory. This is especially huge if you don't happen to live in an English-speaking country and aren't chatting in English every single day.
All right, let's talk about maximizing your learning speed.
The return on investment with comprehensible input is honestly incredible. A simple 10 to 15-minute vlog gives you the exact same, if not way more, learning value as sitting through a full 60-minute formal classroom lecture. You are quite literally getting an hour's worth of learning done in the exact time it takes to drink your morning coffee. How great is that?
And that brings us to this massive multiplier right here, 4. Comprehensible input videos are a staggering 4 times more effective than those old-school traditional methods. By tapping into visual context, natural speaking speeds, and stuff you actually want to watch, your brain is doing 4 times the heavy lifting without you having to exert 4 times the effort. It's a total game changer.
Which leaves us with one final pretty important question. You've got the blueprint. You know those 3,000 words are out there waiting to be unlocked, and you know exactly how to absorb them 4 times faster. So, are you going to learn your next English word sitting in a stuffy, boring, expensive classroom? Or are you going to learn it out in the real world, using the engaging, natural power of comprehensible input? The choice is entirely up to you. Just keep at it, never give up, and fluency is absolutely within your reach. Thanks for hanging out with me on this explainer, and I'll catch you next time.